ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरू श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्ता राधाकान्ता नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। जय श्री
कृष्ण। माय प्रभु दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा। Okay, so today we will be reviewing verse 8 and 9, and the next week, Krishna willing, we will review the last two verses 10 and 11, and that will be the end of matter of instruction. The seventh verse, that's something that we discussed last week, was on the holy name. One second. Oh. Give me a minute, please. The last week, verse number 7, was a discussion holy name. And Rupa Goswami defines how our current condition is compared to a disease condition of jaundice. And the holy name tastes bitter because of the ignorance or our absorption in the activities at the level of body. But just like how the jaundice is cured by taking sweet things, sugar or anything sweet, likewise, the holy name is the sweetest thing. Madhuram Madhuram Bhyopi is the sweetest thing. Although, because of ignorance, we may not be able to experience the holy name, but by uttering the holy name over and over again, the taste will develop. The ignorance will be destroyed. It is said, we discussed about how there are 3 stages of chanting. In the beginning, there is Nam Aparad. We are chanting, but we are simultaneously committing offenses. Then, what Rupa Goswami says, the development taste, the process to develop taste in chanting is by keep chanting. Just like sugar is the cure for jaundice, the holy name is a cure for ignorance. And as jaundice is removed, one can taste the sugar. Likewise, as ignorance is removed, the holy name will awaken within our hearts. All we need to do is utter the holy name over and over and over and over and over, independent of uh, how much taste we experience in the holy name. Prabhupada also many times mentioned most of our progress is dependent upon chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna. Also, we see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was asked among the 9 processes what is most important. Mahaprabhu says Shravanam and Kirtanam. Then Mahaprabhu was asked among these 2 which is most important. It is Kirtanam. The chanting is the most effective in this age of Kali. Kali Kali Namrupa Krishna Avatar. Most effective way to deepen our spiritual sadhana. Then we discuss there is Nam Apara, there is Nam Abhas. Nam Abhas is when you get a glimpse of like compared to the sun is coming, the dawn time. Likewise, you get a glimpse of a spiritual experience, glimpse of spiritual world. And Shuddha Nam is when the holy name completely reveals the entire spiritual world to us. So having taken this human form of life, one should work very hard in cultivating one's relationship with the holy name. And the more we utter, the more we utter, the more we utter, the sooner we will develop affinity for the holy name. Also, Prabhupada mentioned chanting is the barometer. We can know how much progress we have actually made in our Krishna consciousness by how much taste we have developed for chanting the holy names of Krishna. We also have discussed in the beginning that how nectar of instruction, verse number 1 to verse number 11, is a progression from Shraddha to Prema. And this verse number 7 is will give us from Nam Aparad to Nishtha, from Anartha Nivritti to Nishtha to Ruchi. Just this holy name. In the beginning, yes, control the 6 Vegas, then do the favorable things, don't do unfavorable things, develop loving relationship with devotees, don't judge devotees. And then 3 category of devotees we discussed. And then comes this holy name. And now once we have reached the stage of Ruchi, once we have really absorbed ourselves in the holy name, and the spiritual word is getting to reveal to us to some extent. Now we are coming to this verse. This verse may not be, we may not be able to apply this, especially verse number 8, because this needs to be applied at the stage of Ruchi. So that was the background. Tannama rupa chaditadi sukirtananu smrityo kramena rasana manasi niyojya Tishtan vrajeta danuragi jananugami kalam nayeda kilamiti upadesha saram. Stay in Vraja and serve Krishna following the devotees. So Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu. One should discuss about Krishna's name, form, pastimes, character, etc. Kirtan includes glorifying Krishna, chanting Krishna's name. Kirtan includes reaching out to more and more people and speaking about Krishna. They're all part of Kirtan. Sukirtananu, Kirtananu means glorify, discuss. Sukirtananu, keep doing this. What? Tan, about Krishna, Nam, Roop, Charitadi. Adi means and remaining. Charita means his character. Krishna has 64 qualities. And Adi means Leelas, pastimes. That's why just many times our Goswamis, they uses this word Adi because these are poetic, they are poems, they are verses. So they need to be fit in a certain number of alankars. They should be there, like, okay, like syllables, like Mahamantra is 32. So all 32. So likewise, they have to be in a meter. So sometimes they say, if they say Tanama Rupa Charita Leela Sukirtananu, then it will increase the number of syllables and then the rhythm won't match. And that's why many times this word Adi is used, which is like understood. So Tanama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu, glorify the name, also chant the name. Rupa, his form, his beauty. Charita, Sukirtananu. Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya. Smrityo means remember. And Kramena means Kram. Kram means step. And Kramena means step by step. And how Prabhupada translated as gradually. Smrityo Kramena Rasana. Rasana means tongue. Manasi Niyojya. Mind and tongue. You engage gradually. You absorb the mind and engage. Sorry. Remember them by gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. So Krishna's name, Krishna's form, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes, gradually remember them in the mind and also engage your tongue in describing about them, step by step by step. Tishthan Rajetadannuragi Jananugami. Tishthan means sthita. Sthita means to situate. Now what you do is Tishthan Vraje. You live in Vrindavan. Now this is, of course, Rupa Goswami also says a nectar of devotion that we will take after nectar of instruction. Sripad Rupa Goswami says, if you cannot physically be present in Vrindavan, then you can be present there in a mental form, in the mind. So Tishthan Vraje. So here, after you have developed a strong taste and attraction, and after you are getting the glimpse of Goloka Vrindavan, now you live in Vrindavan. Tishthan Vraje, Tad Anuragi Jananugami. Anurag means Anuragi are Anuragi Bhaktas. Rag means attachment. Anurag means those who are very much attached to Krishna. We will discuss about this more. We will introduce a new word called Ragatmika. Anuragi means those who have spontaneous love for Krishna. Jananugami. Anugami means to follow. Now you live in Vrindavan. Now how Prabhupada translates, one should thus reside in Vraja and serve Krishna following the devotees who are attached to his bhakti. Anuragi Vaishnavas. Anuragi Bhakta. Follow, practice under the guidance of Anuragi Bhaktas. This has multiple layers of understanding that we will discuss as we progress. Kalam Nayed Akhilam Iti Upadesha Sara. Akhilam Iti Upadesha Saram. Upadesh. Now, this book is called Upadesh Amrit, the nectar of instruction. And Akhilam, Abhi, after, now this is almost the end of nectar of instruction. Next 3 verses describes the glories of Radharani and the glories of Radhakund. Next 3 verses. So here, Rupa Goswami is telling, whatever Upadesh I have given, he has called this book Upadesh Amrita, nectar of instruction. He says, Akhilam Upadesh Sar is this. Now, after hearing all the 7 instructions and now hearing the 8th instruction, now I am summarizing in 2 words what is the sar of all the upadesh I have given. And he says, Kalam Nayed. Kala means time. Kalam Nayed Akilam iti upadesha saram. सार यही है सारे उपदेश का 24 घंटे भगवान की सेवा में लगेगा. One should utilize one's full time in this way. This is the essence of all that advice. Keep everything, do everything for the pleasure of Krishna. This is not possible for us because we are inflicted by material disease and material desires. And many of our activities are based on fulfilling those material desires. But it is for those who are very advanced and who have developed a strong affinity towards the Lord. Now, utilize your full time in, and how one should utilize one's full time, not sleeping and eating. Utilize your full time in Tannama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtanam. How do you utilize your full time? Live in Vrindavan under the guidance of an Anuragi Vaishnava, continuously glorifying the name, form, qualities, and pastimes. 24 hours. This will take us from the state of Ruchi to Ashakti to Bhava. This is the Upadesh. That's why before telling, this is a very high verse. And that's why before telling this verse, I specifically mentioned the last verse will take us from Anartha Nivritti to the stage of Ruchi. Right now we have so many anarthas. So what is the best sadhana for us? Not to go and live in Vrindavan and follow a resident of Vrindavan and continuously engage. Why? Because we cannot do that because we don't have that adhikar. We don't have that mercy. But then why this is compulsory for nectar of instruction? Know that this is something that exists. And as we progress in our own Krishna consciousness, what we are discussing now will start making more and more sense. This is not something that we can copy. This is something that we are inspired to do. It's one thing, there were some devotees who told Srila Prabhupada, you want to go in Vrindavan and chant like Haridas Thakur. Prabhupada said, work now, samadhi later. Another thing Prabhupada said, you can go, but then you will fall down, Prabhupada says. And some devotees did that and they did fall down because Guru already said, it's clear this is what is going to happen. Why? That's why it is said we cannot copy advanced devotion. It is something that we have to prepare ourselves. Advancement Krishna consciousness is only based on kripa, mercy of the Lord. When Lord sanctions, Dadami Buddhi Yogantam, Krishna will give us that intelligence. When we are ready, Krishna will inspire us to next step of devotion, next step of devotion, next step of devotion. Right now we are discussing a very advanced stage of Krishna consciousness. Now this verse does not need to be practiced only in Vrindavan, but one can follow a Anuragi Vaishnava and one can continuously engage in Nam Rupa Charitadi Sukirtananu. And one can do Kalam Nayed Akilam Iti Upadesha Saram. Utilizing one's time in doing these activities and following Anuragi Vaishnava. One can do those activities while living in Michigan also and mentally reside in Braja. But again, the qualification is the same. We want to come, we need to come to the platform of Ruchi. Then we'll be able to practice this. Training the mind and cultivating bhakti. Why it is so important? Because mind has many impressions. The mind contains thousands of impressions from many lives that combine with each other and produce contradictory pictures. Prabhupada says, bhara hua hai mind from so many past impressions. It is also mentioned when we come to stage of bhava, all the impressions are nullified, they don't go away. When we cross over the stage of anartha nivritti, then they may be there, but they don't disturb us anymore. And the mind can be engaged in making steady spiritual progress, because mind derives now, or because one is very steady in one's devotional service. But when we haven't crossed another nivritti, when we are still struggling with anarthas, then all these things will be there, and it requires a lot of effort to make the mind focus on Krishna and not on our previous impressions. That's why Prabhupada says Krishna conscious about training. We want to train our mind. We don't want to encourage our mind to go to the past. We want to train it, and we should do it with great care. Transmigration at the time of death, one's mind and intelligence create a subtle form of a certain type of body for the next life. Yam yam bhaktismaran bhavam tajite ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti konteya sadatat bhava bhavita. If the mind is not trained, and if the mind is not properly trained in Krishna and allowed to be engaged in sense gratification, then those impressions will become the cause of our next birth. And our next birth will be based on the impressions we are cultivating. That's why it is so important to train the mind. Training the mind means there is some force needed. You train a child means you want him to do something that he's not used to doing it. Likewise, mind is like a child. We are training the mind to remember Krishna. So we want to withdraw the mind from whatever it is absorbed in based on previous impressions and engage them in Krishna service. And do it and do it and do it and do it and do it. And do this with great care. Prabhupada says otherwise, if the mind is not controlled, then it can create a havoc in our spiritual journey. Recently, we were reading a purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, the best way to train the mind is to neglect. Whenever mind presents something unconducive, neglect it. But that requires determination. Dhyata Vishyan Pumsam Sangasteshu Pujayate Sanjat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krodha Vijayate. If we let the mind contemplate and don't neglect the mind, but we let the mind contemplate, it will develop gradually from attachment to lust to anger. And Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, these are the gateways to hell. Hell means lower species. So that's why it's so important to train the mind to remember Krishna. Then training the mind as one's friend if it is trained in giving up material motives. This is very difficult because even when we do bhakti, we may have material motives there. But if the mind is our friend, if the mind is our enemy, the mind wants to maintain material attachments. But if the mind is our friend, the mind only wants to move in the direction of pure devotional service. Giving up material motives, following the regulative principles sincerely, chanting and remembering Krishna, the untrained mind is our enemy. For many of us, our mind presently may be our enemy. That's what needs to be trained. Residents developing taste in bhakti in this way, one should live in Vrindavan or any part of the 84 crores area. Crores, 84 crores. 1 crores is around 1.8, 1.9 kilometers, around 150, 160 kilometers area, square kilometers. Any part of 84 crores area of Brajabhumi, take shelter of an advanced devotee and think of Krishna. That's how one should decide. Once the mind is trained and one had developed taste in bhakti, then one can take this step also. Or can stay. Prabhupada says, Srila Prabhupada says right now, Prabhupada says work now, Prabhupada says at a very advanced stage, you can either continue teaching or you can retire in Vrindavan. Prabhupada says that is your choice. But perfection is not, like especially the mood of our founder Acharya, is to stay wherever you are, serve Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, and then simultaneously cultivate bhakti. And by the mercy of Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you will be able to attain the same perfection as you would attain in Vrindavan. But those who have a desire, and if they're very advanced in devotion, they can retire in Vrindavan also. We see most of our spiritual masters, they are the most advanced devotees, the closest associate of Lord Krishna. And in their most advanced stage, following Srila Prabhupada, they also travel around the world and sharing Krishna with others, just like how Srila Prabhupada did. But Prabhupada said it's a choice. Guidance, one must place oneself under the guidance of a particular associate of Krishna, following the footsteps of that devotee, with a feeling similar to that devotee, and thus serve Krishna. This is applicable both in the stages of sadhana practice and sadhya perfection, when one becomes a Siddha Purusha, spiritually perfect soul. In other words, one should always be under guidance when one is in the beginning stage of devotional service. Then one should be under guidance of devotees, guru, and then listen this very carefully. As we grow, as we cross our anarthas, almost 75% anarthas are gone. Then we become steady in our practices. After steadiness, then we develop taste. We come to the platform of Ruchi. When we come to platform of Ruchi, we get some understanding of our relationship. Our relationship. Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purport there are 5 kinds of relationships. Santa, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. Gradually, as our devotion becomes very advanced, we get a hint of our relationship. And then you serve under guidance of those devotees who have the same relationship with Krishna. Here, how Prabhupada mentions, with a feeling similar to that devotee. It is said in the beginning stages, our hearing is anything and everything. But in more advanced stage, we want to hear more and more about the topics that are relevant to our relationship with Krishna. It's a sort of cultivation. One must place oneself under the guidance of a particular associate of Krishna, follow the footsteps of that devotee with a feeling similar to that devotee. Whatever feeling we have, their feeling, our feeling match, then follow that devotee and thus serve Krishna. This is applicable both in the stage of sadhana and the stage of sadhya. This is also very important because this is more of a subject matter of Nectar of Devotion, which is a very complicated book for many to understand. But somehow it is a part of Bhakti Shastri course. We must go through it. It is a very, very deep that group. This Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is the summum bonum of Srila Rupa Goswami. Very transformational if somebody really try to understand what Nectar of Devotion says. It will bring a clear direction in our spiritual life, how I need to. That's why Rupa Goswami is called the Siksha Guru. Prabhupada mentions in the introduction to Nectar of Instruction. This Krishna consciousness movement is progressing under the direction of the Rupa Goswami. That's why we are also called Rupanugas, because of the direction that Rupa Goswami gave how to practice bhakti that was taught to him by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is applicable both in the stages of sadhana and sadhya. There are 2 types of sadhana bhaktis. There is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, there is Raganuga sadhana bhakti. And sadhya is perfected stage. And that we will discuss more in Nectar of Devotion. But wherever we are in our Krishna consciousness, one must always be under the guidance of a devotee who is an Anuragi Vaishnava, more advanced than us, and have a similar feeling and relationship with Krishna like what we are trying to cultivate. and then mentally reciting Braja and engaging one's full time, 24 hours, in glorifying the name, form, qualities, and pastimes. In this way, spending all of our time. This is a very, very advanced stage of cultivation of bhakti. By hearing this, by discussing this, we can develop an aspiration that someday we'll be able to practice bhakti in a way it is described in this verse. Many senior advanced devotees, this is their favorite verse of nectar of instruction because this is the sar of all the Upadesh. Then from Shravana to Smarana, Prabhupada gives a ladder. Shravana Dasha is the neophyte stage in which one hears Krishna Nam and Krishna Katha constantly. Shravana Dasha means constant hearing. Dasha means when we are in a stage of Shravan. Then there's Varana Dasha. Varana Dasha is a stage of acceptance in which one becomes attached to hearing Krishna Katha and performs kirtan of what one is hearing. And now one is not only hearing Krishna Katha, but one is also speaking what one is hearing, performs kirtan of what one is a stage of acceptance. One is hearing and one is simultaneously performing kirtan of what one is hearing. This is Varna Dasha. Smarana Dasha is the stage of remembering Krishna when one can chant in ecstasy. Smarana Dasha only comes when there is a deep taste in the holy name. And this Smarana Dasha had 5 levels. First is Smaran, recollection or distracted remembrance of Krishna. Recollection means whatever we have heard, we are trying to recollect that about Krishna in our Smaran. That is only possible when our chanting advances. Because in the beginning, it is even very difficult to hear the holy name, and the mind goes all over, and the mind is very disturbed. Then it is not possible to do any smaran at that stage. That's why before smaran comes Shravan. Prabhupada says beginning of Krishna conscious hearing, constant hearing. Then Varana, Kirtan, and then Smarana. Now focus on remembering what we have heard. But in the beginning, that remembrance is very broken, distracted remembrance. Then the next is Dharana, absorption, remembrance of Krishna without distraction. Now you can be absorbed in Krishna, no distraction, and you can just be absorbed. Then Dhyan is meditation or concentrated remembrance of unbroken contemplation of Krishna. Now it becomes more focused, more depth, and the contemplation is unbroken. It's much more deeper than Smaran and Dhyan. It's Smaran and Dharana. Dharana means you're able to hold Krishna for some time in your Smaran. Smarana means it's distracted and it's recollection. Dharana is little more spontaneous. One is absorbed. Dhyan is actual. Now the Smaran is becoming stable. Then Anusmriti is constant performance of Dhyan, means 24 hours. One is Krishna conscious. Wow. And then Samadhi is unceasing Anusmriti of spiritual trance, where one's meditation is entirely free from impediments and wholly uninterrupted. Now we become Krishna conscious. When we say, Prabhupada says, in full Krishna consciousness, many times Prabhupada says, if one comes to a state of full Krishna consciousness, then one can go back to God. That is Samadhi, unceasing. These are all, there is a whole ocean that one has to traverse after one crosses over the Nartha Nivriti. Nishtha and Ruchi, then there is so much work to be done. Our journey is very long, actually. Our journey back to Godhead, I mean, we can easily say Prema and going back to Golok Vrindavan, but the journey is very, very long journey. And the progress is very gradual. Then there is Apanadasha, the stage where the sadhaka achieves realization of one's pure spiritual identity. Who one really is, one realizes oneself. One does self-realization is Apanadasha. It becomes yours. Apana dasha means you realize yourself. What is your relationship? What is your name? What is your service? Everything about you. What type of clothes you wear. Everything about you is realized. Apana dasha. This comes after samadhi. Smarana dasha. So there is Shavana dasha, Varana dasha, Smarana dasha, Apana dasha, and then Sampatti dasha. The stage of perfection when the soul finally obtains a spiritual form and is appointed to the eternal service of Krishna in the spiritual realm is also called Vastu Siddhi. Vastu Siddhi or Sampatti dasha is you go back to Godhead and you join Krishna's pastimes and you personally serve the Lord of your life. This is called Sampatti dasha. This is very important from exam point of view also. Different stages of progress from Shavana to Smarana. Then there is, as I said, there is a small simple introduction to the sadhana bhakti. There is sadhana bhakti and there is bhava bhakti and there is prema bhakti. This is detailed subject matter of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sadhana bhakti is of two types. There is Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. There is Raga Nuga sadhana bhakti. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti is you practice bhakti according to scriptural injunctions. Raganuga sadhana bhakti is you practice bhakti because you are spontaneously attracted to practice bhakti. So one is regulative, one is spontaneous. To Vaidhi bhakti, a neophyte should give up all kinds of motivated desires and engage in the regulative principles of bhakti as per the scriptures, Guru and Vaishnavas. In the beginning, we have many motivated desires and they haunt us constantly. But when a sadhaka is not willing to fuel them and blaze the fire further of material desires in our heart, when he gives up all kinds of motivated desires, gives up fueling them, and then engage in regulatory principles of bhakti as per Guru Shadu Shastra. Guru Shadu Shastra. Now this is Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means as we are instructed. Vaidhi means according to rules and regulations. Thus one gradually developed taste for Krishna Naam, fame, form, qualities, and so on. And this bhakti is not so easy. Spontaneous bhakti is easy, but Vaidhi bhakti is not so easy. It is actually not easy at all. Because there is a tug of war between Krishna and Maya. The mind is constantly want to fulfill its own desire, but the instruction of Guru Shadu Shastra wants us to cultivate Shuddha Bhakti. And then we are trying to force our mind in a positive direction. Sometimes we feel good about it, sometimes we don't feel good about it. But we are just trying to follow the instruction of Guru Shadu Shastra. This is Vaidhi Bhakti. So many times we hear by sincerely following the instruction of Shri Guru. Why? What does Guru say? Practice, practice, practice. And Guru also says, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. What is not conducive, what is conducive, that understanding we get from hearing from Shri Guru by reading Shastra. And then we develop a spiritual intelligence where we have a discrimination. And then by following the path of that discrimination, by doing what our discrimination says, that has developed from hearing from Sri Guru and from Shastra, and then following that path sincerely will train the mind, will purify the mind. The mind is contaminated with unwanted desires, with ulterior motives. And they won't go by themselves. They will go by the cleansing process of vibrating the names. And they will gradually go. But if we fire them, then it will become, then Prabhupada says it will create havoc in our spiritual life. Thus, one gradually developed taste by Vaidhi Bhakti. Follow Guru Shadu Shastra. Don't follow mind demands and dictations, but sincerely follow what Guru Shadu Shastra says. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. By Shri Krishna Sankirtan, once the heart is cleansed, by continuously hearing, chanting, remembering, glorifying, heart is cleansed. Now, once as the heart becomes more and more cleansed, spontaneous attraction for the Lord will awaken. When one attains Ruchi, then one can enter the path of Radhanuga Bhakti. Should not aspire for a stage of devotion that is beyond our adhikar, rather follow Guru Sadhu Shastra. Do what is right and do it sincerely, do it with utmost care. Saraswati Thakur said, beat the mind with the broom, with the stick and with the broom, with the shoes and with the broom. In other words, continuously vibrate the holy name of Krishna and engage in serving Krishna. For us, 24 hours, try to keep Krishna in the center. Any free time, hearing. Don't engage in things that will fuel our material desires. And carefully, progress. This is called tapa. Our life is meant to perform tapa. Our life is not meant for bhog. Bhog is material enjoyment. Life is meant for tapa. What was Brahma asked when he appeared and Brahma doesn't know what is the goal of life? He heard the word tap karo. Rishabh Dev says human life is not meant to be used like cats and dogs. Tapo devam puttaka eva sattva. Tap karo. Tap means practice the fire of devotional service. That's why we have Shika. Shika is like a fire going up. Represents the fire of Bhakti. Human life is meant for that tapa. भोग करेंगे तो भक्ति में जाना मुश्किल है, मतलब लंबा समय लगेगा. गोल क्लियर होना है. गोल क्या है? गोल बहुत दूर है, हम बहुत पीछे. Then there is Ragatmika Bhakti. Now, there is a difference. Who are Ragat? Okay, let us read that first. Is that devotion for Krishna, whose very essence is constituted of eternal spontaneous love and attachment, Rag, without following scriptural rules. It is splendidly manifest in the Brajvasis. Who are Ragatmika Bhaktas? Ragatmika Bhaktas are the eternal associates of the Lord. Rupa Goswami, Srimati Radharani, Lalita and Vishakha, Madhu Mangal, Balaram, Nanda Baba, Yashoda. They are called Ragatmika Bhaktas. Eternally perfected souls who have spontaneous attraction to Krishna. Everything they do is not based on scriptural injunctions, but based on spontaneous love for Krishna. Example, Madhu Mangala is eating and he will give his uchishta, reminiscence to Krishna. Very nice, very nice. Nowhere in scripture says you can eat and whatever your reminiscences you can offer to Radha Gopijana Vallabha. Against. But they eat in the same plate. So no, it's just spontaneous love is in the center. One time there was one devotee brought a bhoga offered to Radha Krishna deities, and he was taking. Prabhupada says, oh, what did you offer to Krishna? That. And Prabhupada took something from the plate directly and ate. And then the devotee was surprised because the regulation is first you have to wash, you have to transfer, bring it out, then only you can eat. Prabhupada took directly from the plate and ate. And then Prabhupada says, I can do it, you cannot do it. Why? The Ragatmika Bhaktas can do it. Shastrically speaking. Everything is based on spontaneous love. Oh, my dear friend Krishna, when will I be able to join your being? Your remembrance came to me in a very nice way today morning. This is from another song by Srila Prabhupada. So Ragatmika Bhakti is the bhakti performed by Ragatmika Bhaktas. Very essence, whose very essence is constituted of eternal spontaneous love and attachment without following scriptural injunction. It is splendidly manifest in the Vrajvasis. They are Ragatmika Bhaktis, and bhakti following the Ragatmika Bhakti is called Raganuga Bhakti. What is Raganuga Bhakti? Is that devotion that follows in the wake of this Ragatmika Bhakti. Wake means you follow a Ragatmika Bhakta. Little more on the next slide. Following the footsteps of one of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. The sadhana of Raganuga Bhakti is of two types, Bahya and Antara. Bahya, externally one performs hearing and chanting in the sadhaka roop, the outer feature of the practitioner of bhakti. Internally one serves Krishna in one's own perfected spiritual form, Siddha roop in Vraja, following the eternal Vrajavasis, Krishna Preshta, who possesses the same mood as which one aspires for. Okay, example. Sachimata. Sachimata is Yashoda. How Sachimata or Yashoda loves Krishna. How she cooks for Krishna. How she cares that Krishna is without not wearing shoes. How she waits and Krishna will return. How Krishna how Yashoda Maya see of Krishna when he goes for cow herding. How she's serving Krishna in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the night. Developing a feeling of if somebody wants to have a Vatsalya ras with Krishna, then they may follow Yashoda. Yashoda Maya or Sachi Mata is a Ragatmika Bhakta. Raganuga Bhakta is a Bhakta K. Suppose a Bhakta, his name is Krishna Das. Krishna Das wants to have a Vatsalya ras with Krishna. Krishna Das is very inspired by the devotion of Mother Yashoda or Sachi Mata. Krishna Das, in the morning, he thinks how Yashoda Maya is now cooking for Krishna. In the afternoon, how she is seeing of Krishna when Krishna is going. How she is waiting in anticipation when Krishna will return. How Krishna is worried that Krishna eat his lunch now. How Krishna sent somebody to give the lunch box to Krishna wherever he is. How Yashoda Maya receives Krishna. So Krishna Das is constantly remembering the bhav of Mother Yashoda. He is cultivating a mood, a feeling similar to Mother Yashoda. Krishna Das externally does not show his inner bhavs. Krishna Das externally sits in the temple hall, attends Mangalarati, sit for japa, chant in 16 rounds, hear Srimad Bhagavatam class, goes out and distribute books, cook for the deities, take rest, get up early morning, chant his rounds. Krishna Das externally is doing the same thing that every bhakta is doing. But internally, while chanting, while distributing books, Krishna Das is always thinking the mood of Mother Yashoda and aspiring. He's following Mother Yashoda and aspiring when he will be able to assist Mother Yashoda, when he will be able to serve Krishna in the mood, in the wake of Ragatmika Bhaktas. Now here, Mother Yashoda is Ragatmika Bhakta. Krishna Das is a Raganuga Bhakta. There is a friend of Krishna Das who also gets up in the morning, who chants his 16 rounds, goes for book distribution, cook for the deity, sleeps with him. His name is Kanishta Bhakta. Kanishta Bhakta is a Vaidi Bhakta. He does everything just like Krishna Das. Kanishta Das, Krishna Das. Krishna Das is following Yashoda and desire a mood of Yashoda, desire a relationship like Yashoda, desire to assist Yashoda Devi, Yashoda Maya. Krishna Das is spontaneously attracted to Krishna. Kanishta Das, he is doing everything because Guru has told him. Shastra has told him. Bhaiya, Krishna Das, Bhaiya means externally, Krishna Das and Kanishta Das same. Antara, internally, both are different. Antara of Kanishta Das is same as Bhaiya. Whatever he is doing internally, externally, same. He's chanting, he's cooking, he's cooking. And his mind is distracted and he is sometimes tormented by anarthas. But Krishna Das, very stable, spontaneous devotion. Krishna Das internally follows a Ragatmika Bhakta, Mother Yashoda. So we saw who is Ragatmika Bhakta, Yashoda Maya. Who is Raganuga Bhakta, Krishna Das. Who is Vaidhi Bhakta, Kanishta Das. Externally, Raganuga Bhakta, Vaidhi Bhakta, no difference. Follow the temple program, follow the service, preach, serve Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mission. Kanishta Das, Anath Nivritti stage. Krishna Das, Ruchi and beyond. Krishna Das, stage of Smaranam. Kanishta Das, stage of Shravanam. The five rasas in Raganuga Bhakti, Shantaras aspiring to be like Krishna's cows, stick, flute, buffalo horns, kadamba trees, and the flowers around his neck and so on. Dasya Ras, following the footsteps, Chitrak, Patrak, Raktak, they are Ragatmika Bhaktas. If they want to become a servant, then one may follow these Ragatmika Bhaktas after stage of Ruchi, and they will be called Raganuga Bhaktas. Sakyaras, following the footsteps of Krishna's friends like Baladev, Sridama, and Sudama. Vatsalyaras, aspiring to serve Krishna in the mellow of parenthood, and thus following Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. And Madhuryaras, following Srimati Radharani or the gopis like Lalita and Vishaka, and Manjaris like Rupa and Rati, in serving Krishna in conjugal love. At our current stage of devotion, we may not be very clear with who we are in our relationship with Krishna. Then following a Ragatmika Bhakta is out of question. But when we are clear, it's the whole path of Bhakti, Dadami Buddhi Yogamtam Yenamamo Palantito. It is given by Krishna. Again, this verse is very advanced. This verse is spoken for a sake of understanding. This word is not meant to be followed. Even if we try to follow this verse, we will be able to follow a few minutes and then we'll go back to our original state, our own state. But what is going to help us at this point of time? This understanding is sufficient. What is going to help us? Continuous utterance of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. जुबान पे इस मंत्र को रगड़ना होगा. हंसते खेलते भोग करते कृष्णा नहीं मिलेंगे, माया मिलती है. तप, जीवन हमारा तप के लिए. इतना आसान नहीं है ना. इतना आसान होता तो हर कोई चला जाता गोलोक का. इतना आसान नहीं है. While residing in Braja, one should become immersed in hearing narrations of the eternal devotees who serve Krishna in the mood for which one aspires. ब्रज में रहो, एक बार रुचि प्राप्त हो जाए. Once you attain ruchi, you know who you are aspiring to follow a particular Ragatmika Bhakta, and then you constantly hear how that Ragatmika Bhakta serves Krishna. And you constantly glorify in a like-minded association. You glorify how Ragatmika Bhaktas in the same relationship serve Krishna. You hear that, you speak that, you remember that while chanting and other times. Those who are able to do that, they are advanced Bhaktas. They are Raganuga Bhaktas. All right. So that was. So any question up till now in verse number 8? How many of you were able to understand this verse?
Path is too long and too high.
Prabhu, say again.
I'm just saying path is too long and too high. Goal is too
Wonderful.
high.
Goal is too high. That realization is great. Amazing.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Atulya Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in the previous slide, on 84 crores of something, right? So can you explain it again? Prabhu? What was that?
Oh, 84 कोस is the कोस, yeah. कोस बोलते हैं जनरली, क्रोसास भी बोलते हैं, but it's not करोड़, it's कोस. 84 कोस is 160 square kilometer is the area of Raja. One can live anywhere in that area.
I was thinking crore.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
You're welcome, Prabhuji. Anything else on this?
And the previous one also, Prabhuji, like 3 stages, right? What is that? Vaidhi
Bhakti.
Vaidhi Bhakti, and then
Ragatmika Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti.
So this is the steps when
नहीं प्रभु, देखो रागात्मिका भक्ता वो जो भगवान के साथ रह रहे हैं अभी, श्रीमती राधा रानी, ललिता विशाखा, मधुमंगल, यशोदा, नंदा, ये रागात्मिका भक्ता है. रागानुगा भक्ता जो उनको फॉलो कर रहे हैं और उनकी तरह उन्हीं के भाव में भगवान की सेवा करना चाहते हैं, वो रागानुगा भक्ता. वैदी भक्ता जो शास्त्रों के अनुसार फॉलो कर रहा है और अपने मटेरियल डिजायर्स को टॉलरेट कर रहा है और जीवन में तप कर रहा है.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah. Now it's clear. Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. Anybody has anything else?
Hare Krishna.
Yeshoda Rani Devi, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanyavad Pranam. Prabhuji, what if you can't go to Vrindavan? Is Vrindavan here? We just pray here, from here?
Rupa Goswami bolte hain Mataji, if we cannot go to Vrindavan physically, we can reside there mentally. But the residence mentally requires the same adhikar as going physically. Once we are ready, Prabhupada says it's a choice. So right now we are preparing ourselves to make our heart Vrindavan. It's a preparation.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Anything else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhupada.
Prabhuji,
yeah, you was like telling really well by the example of Krishna Das and Kanishta Das. I might have missed it. Like, can you please again explain the part where you was telling the difference between both of them?
Okay. In short, Krishna Das gets up in the morning, chants his 16 rounds, worship the deities, cook for the Lord, goes for book distribution, come in the evening, again serve the deity, drink some hot milk, read some Krishna book, sleeps. Kanishta Das does the same thing. Kanishta Das is struggling with anarthas. Krishna Das wants to serve Krishna like Mother Yashoda. Krishna Das, while serving Radha Krishna deities, he is thinking, now my Kanaya, my Gopal is getting up. I have to prepare him. He has to go for cow herding. Radharani will come and cook. I need to make sure his breakfast is ready. Oh, see, his feet does not have the slippers also. Whatever service he is doing throughout the day, he is thinking of Mother Yashoda and the bhav of Mother Yashoda, and he is in that smaran internally. Externally, Krishna Das, Kanishta Das are friends and they are doing the same activities together. Yashoda Maya is Ragatmika Bhakta, Krishna Das is Raganuga Bhakta, following in the wake of Mother Yashoda. Krishna Das is free from anarthas. Kanishta Das is struggling with bhakti tainted by material desires. He wants ulterior motives through his bhakti. Krishna Das just want to go back to Krishna and serve and assist Mother Yashoda in his service. Krishna Das, when he chants, he is thinking about Mother Yashoda's service to Krishna. In the same bhav, he is absorbed. Kanishta Das is struggling and trying to hear the mantra and unable and struggling very hard and feeling very empty. Sometimes he feels good, sometimes he doesn't feel good. One is Raganuga Bhakta, Yashoda Maya is Ragatmika Bhakta, Kanishta Das is Vaidhi Bhakta. All right?
Yes, Prabhuji, like, thank you very much. It helps really to understand with the example of both of them. And one more clarification, Prabhuji, when we say Raga Nuga, as you was mentioning that like Krishna Das, he was thinking about like Mother Yashoda, like how does she love him, and uh, like we were thinking, at least like I was thinking, like Raganuga is we wanted to assist them, right? Or we wanted to love Krishna like Mother Yashoda or whomever is we
Both.
following. Prabhuji?
Both.
It will be both, okay.
We want to love Krishna like Mother Yashoda by assisting her.
Hmm.
Prabhupada says, if we want to become Mother Yashoda, Prabhupada says, that's Mayavad. So it's always assistance, but the feeling is same. Vasalyanas.
Yeah, understood. So, Prabhuji, if like, I don't know if I am asking the wrong question, maybe. Like if someone is trying to follow Manjaris, right? We say 6 Goswamis, Roop Manjari, Rati Manjari.
Yes.
So, but following the Manjari is not always in conjugal love, right?
Following Manjari is conjugal only.
But Manjaris are like always assisting Sakhis in their service, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. Very good question.
Manjaris are also in the same loving affection like conjugal love.
Yes. They have that same feeling for Krishna. But they have more stronger affection generally for Srimati Radharani than Shri Krishna. But the kind of feeling they have for Krishna, now dekho Mataji, Sakhi following, Manjari following different. Sakhi following means strong relationship with Krishna, desire. Manjari following means desire for strong service to Radharani. पर कृष्ण के प्रति भाव भाव तो माधुर्य का ही है, क्योंकि वो स्त्री स्वरूप में है ना, तो भाव तो वैसा ही है। कृष्णा का ब्यूटी, कृष्णा का वेणु, भाव तो वही है, पर अटैचमेंट एक कृष्ण की तरफ, एक राधा रानी की तरफ। आप जिसको फॉलो करोगे ना, आप जैसा बनना चाहोगे आप वैसा फॉलो करोगे। आप कैसा बनना चाहोगे, हाउ यू वांट, what you want to be in Vrindavan, that is a path of revelation.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, that was my next question. Like, it will not, like, what is attracting us and we will started following artificially. It will, like, when after the Narth Nivritti only, it will come naturally.
Yes, at the stage of Ruchi. इसलिए before starting this verse, I said first is seventh verse, from Anartha Nivritti to Nishtha to Ruchi. At Ruchi, this awakens. When it awakens, all these things will make sense. Then why we are being taught now? Because we must be able to understand, we must be able to explain, we must be able to write. Then that is what is needed. It's not needed to be able to practice, but to know is needed. Because the thing is, we are doing Bhakti Shastri. Bhakti Shastri means now we are understanding Bhakti Tattva.
Yeah,
तो
I mean to
इस-
say, if we don't know, then how we will,
पता नहीं चलेगा ना
हाँ, या हार्ड वर्क कैसे करेंगे, हमें लगेगा कि या लाइक
करना क्या है।
हो रहा है, या
तो
बट
process, it's a scientific process.
yeah, like now we know, then we will like desire for it. और अपना, वो बोलते हैं ना कि अपनी औकात भी पता चल रही है यहाँ पे.
Same here also, but yes.
Yes. So Prabhuji, ruchi is like when you have a taste in holy name. What does that ruchi means?
हाँ, रुचि मतलब स्ट्रॉन्ग टेस्ट। वृंदावन रिवील होगा आपको।
So
रुचि की वैल्यू
it will be staying, it stable. The taste will be stable. It's not कि
वो
आज
निष्ठा
अच्छा
में आ
लगा.
जाएगा, निष्ठा में टेस्ट स्टेबल हो जाएगा। रुचि में पूरा दिन आप भगवान को याद करोगे। आपके सामने प्रसाद रखा होगा ना, यू विल थिंक, अगर रुचि होगा ना, यू विल थिंक कैसे वन बिहारी ने इसको खाया है। आप बनाओगे ना, आपके अंदर कोई भौतिक इच्छा नहीं रहेगी। आप ऑलमोस्ट शुद्ध भक्ति कर रहे होगे उस वक्त। भगवान के प्रति बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग अटैचमेंट होगा आपका। पूरा दिन आप भगवान को देखोगे मन की दृष्टि से, आपको आपका स्वरूप ही पता लग जाएगा। और ये अवेक जो हम आज चर्चा कर रहे हैं ना, वो अंदर से अवेकन होंगे वो सारी इच्छाएं, और आप फोर्स हो जाओगे इस रास्ते को फॉलो करने के लिए। बहुत एडवांस प्लेटफॉर्म है। ऐसा बताया गया है शास्त्रों में कि रुचि मतलब उत्तमाधिकारी, रुचि से आप उत्तमाधिकारी हो। निष्ठा मतलब मध्यम, अनर्था है मतलब कनिष्ठ अधिकारी है। तो जैसे ऐसा लगता है, श्यामानंद प्रभु एक बार मैं उनसे चर्चा कर रहा था इन सब्जेक्ट मैटर के बारे में, जो चौपाटी में। वो बोले कि प्रभु ऐसा लगता है कि आज निष्ठा, कल आज अनर्थ निवृत्ति, कल निष्ठा, परसों रुचि। वो बोले जन्म जन्मांतर लग जाते हैं प्रभु। होने का तो दो स्टेजेस ही है केवल, अनर्थ निवृत्ति, निष्ठा, रुचि। पहुंचने में कितना तप का लगता है।
Yeah, as Himangari said, long way.
हाँ, yes.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes.
ठीक है, तो आई डोंट थिंक हम लोग अगला वर्ष का चर्चा करेंगे। किसी और का कोई और सवाल? बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आप लोग ज्वाइन करने के लिए। मेरा प्रणाम आप सब लोगों को। आपके चरणों में वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। धन्यवाद, प्रणाम, हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you so
Dandavat
much,
pranam,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
You are very welcome. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Thank you so much.
Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam.
Thank you, Mata. Hare Krishna.